Good afternoon and welcome to this press conference on the Sustainability Pledge. Thank you for joining online, most of you. We're delighted to be here in Milano at the wonderful campus of SDA Bocconi School of Management. And today we will hear from Maria Teresa Pisani, project lead at UNECE, Giorgio Ravasio, who is the country manager for Italy at Vivienne Westwood, and Paolo Naldini, who is the director at Città dell'Arte Fondazione Pistoletto. And we will also be joined online by Stefano Albini, who is the president of Albini Group. For those attending the press conference online, please feel free to send us your questions online. You've got a chat to do that, and we can then pass on your questions to the speakers during the Q&A session. Before we leave the floor to our distinguished speakers, let's start with a short video about the project that will set the scene for our event. Thank you.
Look around and at what we wear. We all want to look good, but we also want to make sure that our choices are sustainable and fair for workers. Improved traceability and transparency offers a solution. The story of how our clothes and shoes are made is woven into the products themselves. A system based on blockchain can make it easier to reveal this truth, enabling tracking and tracing of any item from field to shelf. Sustainability claims can be regulated and checked. Business can seize opportunities and embrace a new way of working. End-of-life recycling can be improved, and the way clothes are made and used can be redesigned. With reliable data, we can come together to make more responsible choices. The Sustainability Pledge. Track it, trace it.
Then I will immediately leave the floor to Maria Teresa Pisani. Maria Teresa, if you want to come.
Thank you very much, Gian. Welcome everyone to the press conference. It's a pleasure having you with us today. So very briefly, a few points about the Sustainability Pledge, which is actually the culmination of several years of research and development work at the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe. Actually, together with the industry actors representing all main stakeholders, we have developed a series of policy recommendations, guidelines, and standards that have been adopted by all 56 member states of UNECE just in April this year. And our findings identified that key to change was improving the traceability and transparency of the entire value chain, really from field to shelf. And the means to deliver that change, we believe, lies in the application of new technologies like blockchain and DNA tracking. Companies and organizations are joining now the Sustainability Pledge and are implementing our solutions to get the story of how clothes are made and to get the story of people who make them, actually. And this is what very much was underlined this morning. The clothing we wear are also the people that, and especially the people who made them. And now we are working with governments like Italy who are using them to, as a starting point for developing policies, regulations, and norms, and as the industry and consumers are increasingly asking for clear rules of the game, especially when it comes to sustainability claims. With reliable data, we can actually all make more responsible choices. And actually the UN here, what it has been stressed this morning very much by all speakers and panelists at the opening of the conference, the convening role of the UN is there to help actually all the industry actors come around the table, because collaboration and partnership are actually key to make this happen. It's a journey and no one can really make the change alone. We need the whole industry to come together, and we are there to support support it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria Teresa, for bringing the perspective of the UNECE on the project. I would now like to invite Paolo Naldini from Città dell'Arte. Paolo, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, John, and thank you, Maria Teresa, and everybody for having us. I'll be very quick. We are Città dell'Arte Pistoletto Foundation. It's an arts foundation founded by one of the most influential Italian artists, Michelangelo Pistoletto, in Biella, where I met Maria Teresa in Biella. So that it was our privilege to come to work with our partner in crime, Vivienne Westwood, an innovator and visionary by nature that we all know. Therefore, we invested our department in Città dell'Arte dedicated to sustainable fashion, and I have to thank Olga Pirazzi, who is the leader of this office in Città dell'Arte. And we joined hand and forces with Giorgio and its team in order to conduct this pilot. I'm done, but I would like to finish with an announcement that we are glad to do as ambassadors, if I may say so, of this amazing adventure, that someone else is joining the club. And after the forerunners, Vivienne Westwood, we have Giorgio Arbani Group, who is going to be with us in Città dell'Arte and UNECE for a next pilot. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paolo, and thank you for reserving this fantastic news to this event. That's great. We'll be looking forward to hearing about that in the coming months. Then, Giorgio, if you would want to explain what Vivienne Westwood did. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Jean. Thank you, Maria Teresa. Thank you, Paolo. I'm always excited to represent Vivienne Westwood, such an innovative company that was founded almost 50 years ago, and it grew up managing distribution. And in the last 10 years, we have developed the management of the internalization of production. For this reason, we participate to this pilot because it was a great opportunity to face a challenge and to start experiencing something in which we were not experienced. So we have worked a lot, and we have involved some of our talents in this experience in order to make it happen properly and take advantage from this possibility and this strong opportunity. And of course, we have worked a lot in this pilot. We were being involved for many hours. We have tried to share our problems, what we have faced, and I would say that after so much work, we were able to define a methodology and to understand how to make processes in order to make a change and to have an impact, in order to have all the processes traced and make a traceability of our products. And at the end, we reach a very huge result, in our opinion. We were able to have two products, one shirt and one trouser, that were completely shared from the traced from the cotton field to the store in which they were sold. And someone can say that to have two products in our collection is not so much, but to be honest, for what we have learned and for what we have experienced, for an industry that is so articulated and complex and vertical, I would say that this is a major result that we are able to manage. Considering that we need to cooperate with many actors of the supply chain, and then to try to create a trustful relation with all of them in order to reach this. I would say that something is say I want to be sustainable, and something else is I I make sustainability products. Something is I want to have clarity in the supply chain, and different is to make clarity in the supply chain. So I would say that the result is really huge, and we were able to manage this project and having all this kind of result in order to understand where the product is coming from, what is the content that is organic and or recycled, and then to check also all the chemical compliance on that. And I would say that this is a strong result for this. We didn't expect to reach this. At the beginning, we were inexperienced, and we talked, to be honest, to be more ambitious and to do more. But we have found so much complexity in this, then the result is completely satisfying to us. And what is the future? The future is that this was an experiment for us, and our idea is to develop more and more this project. And from what we were able to understand and learn from this sharing experience with Fondazione Pistoletto, with UNEC, and then to develop again and try to make it stronger and stronger in order to reach the maximum quantity of our collection, managed with a value supply chain in order to be completely transparent, clear, and sustainable. Of course, it will need years, not season, because of the complexity of the structure, but we are confident, and we feel that it is possible, and so we have a long-term target to be reached, and I hope that this pilot will proceed and to be able to do more and more again together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Giorgio, for sharing this insight of the learnings and the future that awaits the company of this pilot. I would now like to invite Stefano Albini, president of Albini Group. He's joining us online from Paris, from Première Vision. So, Mr. Albini, the technical team here will give you the signal in 1 second. You're live.
So, I think that to understand how this project can help Albini, I would like just to say how transparency and the consequence of transparency, that is the traceability, of course, is so important in the textile industry. Albini is selling in about 80 countries to about 1,000 customers. And out of them, the main customers that make about the 80% of our turnover are about 200. So in 2-3 years, from 2-3 customers that wanted information about the origin, chemicals, the social issues, the certification, now after 2 years, this kind of customers are about 50. So we had to install, to build an office for giving this information to our customers. And this is pretty inefficient. It's a big work by our people. So what is the great value of this project? The great value of this project is to set a standard, to declare the claims that has to be put to the final consumer, before to our customer and then to the final consumer. And of course, to have built a pilot to demonstrate that it can be done in a blockchain system. It was a huge work. I have to thank the many people that work on this project, but it was done, and we did it in the cotton, the organic cotton value chain. It was not so difficult because we built with our supplier a very good partnership. The partnership, I think, is one of the most important words to say to reach the result, because if you don't have the partnership, if you don't build with your supplier the transparency and the willingness to exchange data, it's something that it doesn't work. So it's not a matter of some months, maybe it will last still some years, but the process is done. And I hope that the main brands, the main retailers that are the most important, the most important names in the textile, in the fashion industry, can adopt, can learn from this project in a way that we can also use this system to start to go to our supplier and to convince them to use it. This is the most important thing that we have to do now. We have maybe to have the system more easily connected with our ERP. That is a further step to do, but the starting point is done, and so we are happy to be part of this project. Thank you.
Time to join us today, despite the distance. Since we didn't manage to have a speaker with us explaining the DNA marking or tracing in the project, I would like to maybe invite Maria Teresa to say a few words about that.
Yes, John, very briefly, right now under the project we are running two blockchain pilots. One is for the cotton value chain. The second one, just starting now, is for the leather value chain. We have about 50 partners that have joined the two blockchain pilots, and these partners include brands, manufacturers, service providers, certification bodies, standard setting bodies, and include also startups like Elixa that are DNA markers providers. Now, how does it work in the context of the project, the use of DNA markers? Basically, the blockchain system allows the mapping of all the actors along the value chain so that all the phases of production are identified, all the data points along the value chain are identified, and these actors exchange data and information that allow the traceability and transparency in the blockchain environment. And this is like the digital layer. It's about the digital traceability, and it's about exchanging data and documents. It's very important, we realized, also to connect the digital layer to the physical layer and ensure that the certificates and the proofs of compliance on environmental aspects like CO2 emissions, use of recycled content, organic content, travel with the physical asset. So a startup like Elixa has been basically providing a DNA marker that is sprayed on the cotton at the farm level, and then allows to detect that that cotton, organic cotton for instance, is there included, in the material, in the product, anytime during the value chain. It's enough to do a test lab and to detect that that cotton is exactly in that fabric or shirt or pair of jeans. So that was like an additional layer that we decided to have in the as part of the pilots, and is bringing added value when it comes to the reliability of claims for the products that are traced and tested as part of the pilot project.
Thank you very much, Maria Teresa, for explaining this important element of the pilot so far. Since we're not getting more questions from the online, could I ask then our panelists maybe one final question is, what would you want to say to the companies that are still not on board of the initiative? What would you like to tell them to make the first step to join?
So As I said before, we have learned a lot, and I think that what we have done is just something that will be common in the future. The final user is going to be more educated, and there is the need that is already in the market to understand where the clothes are coming from and who made it. So at the end, I think that this is something that is just anticipating something that will be common in the market. So I would say that all the companies that are not in the pilot at the moment or have not decided to be part of that, I think that they will need to be part of this, because in the future we will need to be more clear and to have clarity in the supply chains, making in the same time efficiency and trying to make to reach a common goal in producing something that will be clear, that will be transparent, and for guaranteeing the raw material that could be ethic, and also the worker that will be ethically managed in all the supply chain. That sometimes this is not something that is commonly happen in a so articulated and particular kind of supply chain.
Well, what I can say to the industries yet to join is that the challenge that we're facing is, of course, mandatory, compulsory, but it's also an amazing opportunity. And we know, because we have met many of you, that you may be perhaps sometimes a bit overwhelmed or clueless where to start. Don't be afraid. In order to walk this path, you have to walk joining hands within your supply and value chain, first of all, but also with other constituencies, like the ones that also are gathered around the UNECE platform. So it's time to join hands in order to reinforce ourselves for a major challenge. Here is where we are.
Thank you very much, Paolo. And before we close, I would like to give the floor one more time to Mr. Albini. If you hear us, Mr. Albini, the floor is yours. He doesn't hear? No? So we lost the connection. Then I would like to thank you all for joining into this press conference. Thank you very much to our distinguished speakers, both on site and online. And stay tuned for the next news about this exciting initiative in the coming months. Thank you very much to all.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm joining you today to share my appreciation for the work you are doing. You have come together to deliver workable solutions to improve the sustainability of the garment and footwear sector. And for that, I applaud you. Like many of us gathered physically or virtually in Milan, where Fashion Week is underway, I love clothes. They give me the freedom to be creative as an actress and as a woman, to take on different roles, to express my mood, and to change my appearance. But our love for clothes should not be costing the planet. We cannot afford to continue to chew up our natural resources and spit out waste, nor turn a blind eye to the opaque supply chains that enable the exploitation of workers. It's time for change, for a new approach. The Sustainability Pledge offers the solution we all need as consumers, as policymakers, as businesses working in this global industry. with access to information that we can trust, we are all empowered to make more sustainable and ethical choices. I look forward to seeing more commitments to the Sustainability Pledge and for your work to blaze a trail for other sectors to put sustainability first. The Sustainability Pledge. Track it, trace it, wear it. Thank you.